right now, if follow the money, always follow the money. Right now, there's some mining going on in Afghanistan, and that's basically what is going on with Afghanistan. Is first of all, the poppies are growing again. I thought that was a bad thing, but now all of a sudden, it seems to be that the drug is increasing. Nobody's stopping that one. It's being encouraged. And then there's I forget the name of the mineral, but there is a mineral that they're trying to mine that is found in cell phones, batteries. There's some kind of thing that's needed for our technology, and there's a lot of it in Afghanistan. So that war in Afghanistan is not about saving nobody, it's about stealing their economic system. And one good way that you can kind of find out where the wars are and the meaning of what war is, go research Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is, a motivational speaker. This is how you get rich. He always says, get a mentor. Find out somebody who's successful and then be exactly like them. So, what I'd like you to do is go and research some of the mentors that this motivational speaker suggests that you imitate. I did that. And I found out that a long list of the people that he's recommending you imitate are big corporations that made all of their money off of war. They have to destroy an economic system, so they will cause as much conflict as possible, and then they come in and take over and fix the economic system to make it look like it's peachy keen, where it's not. There's some guy that is profiting from it, and in every instance, it's never going to be a person that lives in that country. The people that profit off of war are never going to be citizens that live in that country. It's always an outsider that has gone in, caused an awful lot of problems, created a need for a war, because they're both bad cop, good cop. It's all one guy. It's all one organization that's doing all of it, all sides of it. And you're trapped in it because you need to feel good about yourself and kill a few people. Um, Here's another thing, too. Does a terrorist know that he's a terrorist? I mean, does a terrorist actually think that he's doing something wrong? Or will he fight to the death that he's doing something right? And then you kind of look at where you're standing and you justify your side of war. And don't you think that what you're doing is right? You're no different than a terrorist. You justify your actions of killing other people exactly the same way a terrorist would. But you want to put a word like terrorist and make them look like they're bad guys? Well, the US is a terrorist. And I'm not saying that everybody in the States are, really, really bad people. Although it is really, really frustrating um, hearing so many people dislike Americans. I mean, it's being Canadian, lots of Canadian people don't like Americans. And when Canadians travel across the country, that's what, Canadians hear is how many other countries totally dislike the Americans. Now, it's not the American people, it's your government, your leaders, it's your corporate CEOs that are friggin' taking over the planet. And they use war to do it. They are terrorists. And they make men and children believe that fighting for a just cause is how they end up getting the job done. I mean, and you want to say that Desert Storm, you tried to sit there and have a conversation, a peace, try to negotiate peace. Desert Storm is not what you think it was. because I talked to soldiers that actually fought in that war. I talked to people that moved to Canada from both those countries after all of that happened. And that's a completely different thing that was going on. The United States bought and paid for that takeover and then turned around and attacked them for doing what they were told to do. There is so much evidence out there that proves that Desert Storm had zero to do with the United States ever wanting any form of peace. Desert Storm shows beyond a reasonable doubt that the United States are the terrorists. They are not people that go around saving people. They your army, your wars are started by you, not you individual, but your country. And now it's all going to be collapsing on you, and you wonder what to do. Maybe change your ways. Maybe look at something completely different. Look at the fact that you do have free will. You have a free will to fight or not fight. You have a free will to open up your mind or to believe in the same things that you always believed in. What was another point that you made? That your lungs, for one thing, have no free will. They work. No, they don't. I'm I'm one of them that can tell you my lungs do not work all the time. I hold my breath. So, um, yeah, the body works until it dies. And when you can kind of comprehend that how we live our lives, how we choose to experience our free will is how we end up killing our bodies. Because I do have a free will to hold my breath or not hold my breath. And when I hold my breath, I know that I'm depriving oxygen to my whole entire body. And if I do that long enough, then I will kill my own body. So it's only my will to live that makes all of my organs work. The second that I lose my will to live, things start breaking down. I start making choices that will actually start breaking down my body until the point where I die. So, um, let me see. A soldier in a Bible, you were mentioning that a soldier, swears that, he's doing the right thing just like a Bible. Well, I don't believe in the Bible because there's a lot of things in that Bible that are contradictory. It was written by the corporation as well. Religion was created by the corporations because it's a good way to get people to follow exactly what path you want them to follow. You get them to believe there's a God and you're going to hell if you don't do what I tell you to do. The one part on there is raising 4 children and a Bible that says beat your children from a loving God. Something's wrong with that picture right there. And, like if you discipline your kids and you think that that's the right thing to do is beat them, you'll never ever recognize that that's a contradiction. However, the situation that I was in with 4 kids, I used many, many different techniques. I was a mother that was out to try and do the best thing for my kids at all times. It wasn't until the 4th child and extreme abuse that I found out that talking with your kids, negotiating with them, educating them, patience, love, understanding goes so much further than discipline. Because discipline is go to your room and do as I say. They have no idea why I'm telling them to do as I say, because do as I say is using my logic of this is the right thing to do. Unless my children understand the logic that goes behind any rule of living your life, they will always go against it. You can ground them in the room, but they're going to go out and do it again. They go out into society that constantly influences them. Do this, do that. They got to come back into the house and I got to beat them all the time after they've been out in society? No. If you want to raise your kids well, talk with them. Negotiate. It's not so much negotiation. it is open communication. Understand the perspectives that they're coming from. Understand their reasoning. Understand your own reasoning. And come up with, what do you think is the right thing to do? Um, all of us are making mistakes, even me. And for me as a parent to say, you got to do everything my way now, is kind of, I would have a massive ego thinking that I know everything there is to know in the world and everything I say is right. And that's not true. Just because you're a parent doesn't mean you know everything, and doesn't mean that everything you do is right. It just means you got a way you want to do it. And you got to work with your kids. I found extreme success when I started talking about my logic and understanding the logic of my kids, and with an open communication, with love, understanding, and support. I ended up finding out that some of my rules were kind of bullshit. I ended up being a better person. And my kids are more respectful. They're more, they can go out into society and use their own heads and make up their own minds of what they want to do, because when they come into my house, they can use their own heads. They know how to communicate. They know how to be strong in what they believe in, and they can sit there and debate their point of view with my debate of my point of view lovingly, so that we find out what is the right thing to do. So that's my little take on the Bible. um, a lot of people are going to swear by it. That's why a lot of our wars are created, is by a Bible. So it's really funny that you would bring up a soldier, is devoted to, their corporation that's making a lot of profit, which you don't see that in the Bible, which they're just two of the same things. There's more going on than humanity actually realizes. And yeah, I do think it's going to be a time that we need to rewrite all of our science books. Um, for instance, let's prove whether there's free will or not. Like, if you're a scientist, you should be able to prove that open and shut. And I think that there's more than enough examples to show that we do have free will. You just don't want to use it. And because then you have to be responsible and accountable. And nobody wants to be responsible or accountable right now. It is the biggest pill you got to swallow. But if we all were responsible and accountable for our own actions, um, then we'd be seeing a totally different picture. But there is definitely, most definitely, free will. I haven't seen anything that you presented that disproves it, other than you want to believe you don't have free will. I believe there is free will. Um, I think I've proven it because I'm always got choices. Always, always, always have choices. Peace out.